And good morning. Happy May 15th, 2021. I want to thank you all for being here. I know that some of you were waiting. We got started just a smidge early here. Today is tomorrow now because of the weather. My son's graduation got moved from today, my high schooler from today to tomorrow, which means now we have to smash together a party and the graduation ceremony. And so we're working on the logistics of that, but it's going to be awesome. I want to thank you all for being here. I hope everybody's doing well. Things around the states here seem to be getting back on track. Good morning, Tony, over at Quick Tech. Tony is becoming a moderator. So I'd like you all to keep Joe from Cajoling Tech. I want to give him a shout out. He's a friend of mine, and I want to give him a shout out. I want everybody to keep him in your thoughts or whatever it is that you do when you send good vibes towards people. Joe is going through something right now, and could just use some positive thoughts and energy headed his way. So appreciate that, and I want to thank Joe for being a friend. And Joe, if you see this, I don't know if you're on an airplane right now, but just know you've got friends all over the place, and you can reach out. So let's go over to the comments. I'm not doing any screen sharing today because I've got a lot to do. We're going to do the stream, answer some questions, show you some stuff. Well, let me get over to the comments real quick. Good morning, Gibby. And let's see. Noodles. Dang, no previous warning. Yeah, I'm going to get better at scheduling those. Dale's on the chat. Good morning, Dale. I sent you an email about your phone system. Morning, Terry. Morning, David. Orette. Good morning. Xavier. Good morning. Good morning, TN Bighorn from Nashville. Man, we were looking at real estate in Tennessee this morning. And with everybody moving there, everybody, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the States, there's a lot of people fleeing certain states. We're not fleeing, but we're looking at what's going on. And Tennessee's a state that has no income tax. And the last time we were down there, they were talking about lowering their property taxes. And when I told them how much it cost me to keep and maintain a car, to buy and maintain a car in Illinois, they were like, what? So yeah, people are moving to different states. And so we were looking at real estate in Tennessee, but you couldn't afford it. There was like a three bedroom, 1.5 bath house down around the Nashville area. And it had less than a half an acre, and it was like $250,000. So it looks like real estate's booming in some places. Yeah, good morning, Gibby. Yeah, there's lots of graduations going on here. The local colleges are doing graduations, bigger school districts. Everybody's kind of cramming in those graduations today. Good morning, Robert from Argentina. Good morning, James from Tucson. Good morning, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. Cody's blowing up on TikTok over there. Good morning, Paul. Let's see. Good morning, JH. Yeah, TN Bighorn says, dude, if you're looking for a house, don't come to Nashville. You need to get just about 30 minutes outside of it. So we were looking at that per Hickory too, but we were also looking at kind of in the middle of the state. And I actually kind of wanted to, if anybody's ever heard the Monkey song, the Last Train to Clarksville, was that written about Clarksville, Tennessee? That's kind of cool. David Anderson says, I tested the termination of that OM1, worked and was blown away. Used all Amazon cheap stuff and mechanical connectors. That's awesome. Morning, Ryan Sharp. All right, so I don't talk about politics, religion, or any of that kind of stuff on the channel. I'm kind of Switzerland when it comes to that because I get along with people who have all different types of views. I believe that to make this world go round, that we all have to understand other views. So I have my personal views. If you understand how to read between the lines, I'm 100% sure that you can watch the channel and get an idea for where I sit on certain things. But yeah, somebody said don't leave the state you're in and take your voting habits to turn them into the state you left. So there's all kinds of controversy. We're not going to get into that. But good morning, Paul. Hey, Dublin, Ireland is in the house. Stephen, good morning. Ressi says, good morning, 250,000. Try LOL, try buying in Australia and you'll be horrified at real estate costs. Yeah. Dave Shing says, good morning from Kickapoo. Dave, is that Kickapoo, Illinois? Let me know in the comments. If so, that's fantastic. We're practically neighbors. Blaine, good morning from Red Deer. Yes, good morning. Let's see here. Gibby says, finally finished the Bluebell project yesterday. Added 12 breakouts from fiber, TP-Link, fiber to network adapter. No, I didn't get free ice cream. Oh, that's too bad. All right, Dave, glad to see you're in the house. So we are, we've looked. I never said we were moving. I just said we were looking. So it's fun to look and see what's going on, And good morning, Daryl. So we're going to make a trip to Ireland here in the next few years. Morning, David. All right. So if you saw the icon for the live stream, this is crazy to me, right? So I found this, believe it or not, I found this at a dollar store. So occasionally I'll go in there, pick up some cheap pens or, some last minute, just inexpensive, cheap provisions. And these are officially licensed. I don't know if I can get it to focus on that. But these are officially licensed by Nintendo, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 of these at least. But what they are is they're like different colored sticky notes, and then you build this thing just by putting the sticky notes on the wall. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to have to figure out, I may only, because this thing is 37.5 by 80. This mosaic. There's 350 colored sticky notes, and there's a reference guide in there. And so I think that I'm going to have to maybe just do the head. I don't know. 80. I'm going to have to figure it out, or I'm going to have to move the camera back, which means I'm going to have to do some rearranging in the office. But I literally got this thing for $1. So I bought a few of them. The kids all have them. I'm hoping to get the kids to build these. Obviously my high schooler, maybe he thinks he's too old for this, but I think this is pretty cool. And it's going to be fantastic, I think, once I get it on the wall. But yeah, if you've got like a Family Dollar around you, check it out and see if they've got these. Also, they have like little Meccano metal construction sets. They're called erector sets. But they have like single model builds for like $1. And I was like, that's cool. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to buy a bunch of those. And there's a children's museum here. I'm going to donate those as part of a program. They can use them. Paul McCarran asks, where are you from? Do you know where Peoria, Illinois is? Because that's where we're at. That's where I tell people, just because, Dave said Kickapoo. Nobody besides the people who live around here know where Kickapoo is. So Peoria is halfway between Chicago and St. Louis. Hey, Joe from Cajoling is in the house. I'm glad to see you, buddy. We're trying to get the internet to send you lots of positivity this morning, and you and I need to catch up, you and I and Tony. And Ryan Sharp says, speaking of Kickapoo, some entitled guy in a Civic threw $0.25 at my car in front of the Shell station. Must have been some road rage accident there. Yeah, Dave, our taxes go to Brimfield School District as well. Let's see. So, all right. So technology. I know we might've talked about this before, and my list of videos, just so you know, will never probably be complete because technology is always changing. We're always keeping up. We're always learning new things. Just like if you saw the UDM or the Unify OS video this week, now, and there's actually more SSL certificates on those boxes than what I showed, but those to me were the two important ones. And I'm still poking around and mapping out the entire structure of that Unify OS so that we can take full advantage of the things going on under the hood. Who knows how long that's going to take? I only do it about 20 minutes at a clip. Because I have other things, but the CN Vision, if we haven't talked about this, this is Cambium's, what Cambium has done with this, and I've got to get this video done, but what they have done with this product is they've created a plug and play bridge system for closed camera, closed CCTV, whatever you want to call it, closed circuit TV, or IP cameras, right? I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And literally all you have to do is plug these things in, and these are meant so that if you're a camera installer and you don't know all the intricacies of tuning your point to multi-point for video, these things are going to do the heavy lifting for you, and they actually will integrate with a lot of popular VMS systems. So I can't wait to get these out. I got a couple projects here around the house where we're going to use these. So if you've got any questions about the Cambium stuff, let me know. Let's go back over to the comments real quick. James Ridgway. Good morning, James. James and I ran into a marketing issue with Cambium, and James can expand on this. James owns an ISP. He's also a brother. So welcome, brother, this morning. And we ran into a marketing issue with Cambium where he bought a Cambium switch for his Wisp. We're replacing some Ubiquiti gear with it. And this thing is supposed to, or at least in the firmware, it supports passive PoE. However, you can't turn passive PoE on. And when we were looking at the switches, there was mention of the switches supporting passive PoE. Well, we can't find the marketing propaganda that was out there that says it supports passive PoE. However, James has plenty of screenshots that show that the firmware supports passive PoE, but it won't let you turn it on. So we are, or James is in the process of getting that swapped out, and I'm hoping Cambium is cooperating with that. All right, Gibby says, hey, I do have a question for everyone. Can anyone recommend a remote desktop for clients who are not on our controller? Like to use it for remote in clients' computers. And so we use Zoho, Zoho Assist. And depending on the package that you get, I have 25 unattended installations. So I'm grandfathered in to a couple of deals back, which is why I don't change my plan. I get all the reporting. I get 25 unattended installations. I can run 2 support calls at the same time. Now I don't get the voice integration and some of the newer stuff, but I pay like $200 a year. So yeah, Cambium is a very solid, very reliable product. David Anderson says AnyDesk works well. JH says ConnectWise or Dameware. We tried Dameware a few years ago. Now, here's the thing too, right? So you could actually use Ultra VNC, and there's a plugin for Ultra VNC so that your credentials aren't set in clear text, that your session is encrypted. So you could also look at Ultra VNC, and they have a reverse installer package for Ultra VNC. So you could check that out. You could create a VPN to each site, or you can have a central server locally at your location. You could use dynamic DNS, but then you could have the remote VNCs come in backwards to you. Does that make sense? So you could do that. If you want to learn how to do it, yeah, check out that VNC thing we were just talking about. Ryan Sharp is going to earn a permaban here in just a second because he says, easy, just forward RDP on every client's firewall and do it that way. And I know he was being facetious with all of the smiley faces, but talk like that, them's fighting words. You know how I feel about RDP port forwards. So yeah, there's fixme.it. There's a bunch. Cambium switches with the dash P should be PoE. So this Cambium switch is PoE, right? So that's the thing. It does standard AFAT PoE, but was also supposed to do passive PoE, and it shows it in the firmware, but it doesn't support it. You can't turn it on, and we thought we were going nuts. Yeah, ConnectWise control. Oh, Jeremy says Apache Guacamole for an open source project is pretty nice. So if you're not subscribed to Jeremy's channel, check it out. He's on the front page. He's listed under the other channels. On my channel, go check him out. He does a ton of open source. In fact, I think he's dedicated pretty much to Linux and open source. Jeremy, let us know in the comments. Do you have a tutorial for Apache Guacamole? If you do, we'll send people over there to check it out. Yeah, I don't use any SolarWinds stuff at the moment. I take that back. I do use Kiwi Syslog Viewer because Kiwi Syslog Viewer is awesome. Yeah, Chrome Remote Desktop is a thing too, but I've started running into more enterprises recently who are banning Chrome, that don't want Chrome running in their organizations. The funny thing about that is, here's the funny thing. They're telling me Chrome's not allowed, but they're using the new Edge, which is based on Chrome. So, but yeah, the Chrome Remote Desktop was a problem for us when it first came out because we were trying to figure out how we block it and all that stuff. And we finally figured it out. Noodle says we run both TeamViewer and Screen Connect. There are so many different options. There are so many options out there, but if you're looking for an open source one, check out Guacamole. Maybe Jeremy will do a tutorial over on his channel, but then also check out that Ultra VNC with the encryption plugin. So we're getting ready to do a huge deployment of the Ultra VNC with the encryption plugin. And VNC is still out there. Let's see. TeamViewer. So here's the thing. I will admit that TeamViewer is rock solid, but it comes with a rock solid price too. And then you've got the whole thing with the versions where a 7 can't connect to an 8 and blah, blah, blah. Good morning, Bob Carpenter. Bob Carpenter is in the house from the frozen land of Canada, where they have fantastic coffee and also gravy on your French fries. Good stuff. All right. Yep. And Tony posted a link to Jeremy's channel, and he does have a video for guacamole. And he says he cheated a bit, he thinks, and used a Bitnami appliance, and it's been there for a while, but that's fine. Tony posted a link to Jeremy's channel, so go check that out. Check out the guacamole project if you're interested in that. Yeah, Chrome sends stuff all over the place. If you've never opened up the Chrome, there's a thing where you can view what's going on under the hood with Chrome, and you can watch all of the DNS requests and HTTP requests and all this. I mean, the Chrome browser really is runs like an operating system within Windows. It's crazy how much control Google has over Chrome and everything we put into Chrome. So right now, I'm not using Chrome to stream this, so I'm live streaming from the YouTube panel itself from the YouTube studio, but I'm using Firefox to do it. So I only run Chrome when absolutely necessary. Sean says, I use SolarWinds Service Desk, but had higher expectations for Dameware. Yeah, there's a lot of different platforms out there. Blaine says, I have a Reolink E1 Zoom that will only connect to one specific UniFi AP at 76 dB. That's not a great connection. That's usually about where we start when we start configuring min RSSI. I'm going to twirl my mustache. I'm going to become a heel this morning. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that, but I am going to try to twirl my mustache, get some handlebar stuff going on there. We've managed to keep another human being alive and get them through high school. So we've kept him alive for over 17 years. He'll be 18 soon. and get him through high school with an AB average. I couldn't be more proud of this kid, to be honest with you. He is my namesake. He is working with me. He's going to go to school, and I'm so happy and excited for him. So, let's see. Yeah, Bob Carpenter says gravy and cheese curds equals poutine, and poutine is yummy. Yeah, we always have a couple different ones. So believe it or not, Zoho does have some issues with some of my clients, and I don't know why. But believe it or not, we actually use Zoom too, because then a participant in the meeting can share their screen and then we can request control. So Zoom actually has never failed me. But Zoom, there for a while had its own security stuff that everybody was watching out for. Brave is a good fork of Chrome. I don't use the Brave browser either. I had some clients who use Brave and trying to configure an edge router. So Ubiquiti is doing something in the UI of the firmware, and it basically locked up and was unusable. My son, my middle child, the youngest boy, uses Opera, and I think it's because of the built-in VPN. But Firefox has that now too. But so James says, Willie, both Cambium and Streakwave failed to exchange this product for me. All right, James, we're gonna have to talk and figure out where we're gonna go from here. I don't know if you want to try to sell that. We could try to sell it for you and see what we can come up with. Let's see here. Yeah, going to Google or Microsoft, same difference. Yeah. Gibby says, call up Wincom. Interesting. All right. Joe from Cajoling says, I am not a TeamViewer fan after they blocked me trying to help a nonprofit saying it was for paid business reasons and wouldn't listen to my dispute. Yeah. I mean, they are, yeah. Oh, raise your hand if you've ever played with a Ubiquiti, with a UniFi building to building bridge. I have a set here. I'm going to do a video on this. I've got a few other video ideas cooking. But if you've never seen the UBB, I am going to do a video on this. I have a particular way. So there's lots of people that have done videos on these, but they haven't. There's some nuances to these, and I'm not seeing the nuances in the videos. And so that's why I'm going to do my own video on these. So what I do, the very first thing that I do, and this is going to be covered in the video. So the very first thing that I do, I'm just kidding. That 60 gigahertz is driving me wild. So what I'm trying to get. So the very first thing that I do with these when they come out of the box is I do a firmware upgrade, a manual firmware upgrade. And that usually fixes any of the problems that you have getting these things to adopt. So we're going to be going over that. I'm going to be going over this in my UniFi build video. So just wanted to throw that out there. If you haven't used these, it's a great little product. That's the thing. Like I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm not anti-Ubiquiti. I'm not anti-Ubiquiti at all. But right product, right job. So let's talk about that. I cannot tell you the name of this client. I have an NDA with them. They are a very where they're at. They're pretty high profile client, but what they're doing is they've got an 80-acre parcel, and they're building a fence around this 80-acre parcel, and every 400 feet. They are going to have a pole that's going to have 2 cameras, and it is going to have a solar rig on it. And what we need to do is instead of running Ethernet cable, they want a way to bring the cameras back into HQ. So what we're doing is we're actually using not Cambium. Scratch that. We are using MikroTik wireless wire. They're pre-configured, and we are literally just going to deploy a pair, and we're going to create a ring that if it gets damaged one way, it'll fail over the other way, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to work, and it's inexpensive. So, all right, back to the comments here real quick. What's the range on those? I wouldn't try to go more than on these UBBs, probably 100 meters reliably, but they do have a 5 gigahertz. So 60 gigahertz. The reason that people talk about feeling weird is because I think I'm no physicist, yeah, I'm not a physicist, not a chemist. I'm not a scientist at all. But there's different attenuation of different materials, water, and we are how much percentage water at different frequencies. And 60 gigahertz has a huge rain fade issue, right? So if I were to fire those up and hold them right here, there's a good chance that I might be disrupted. I don't know. But they do have a 5 gigahertz failover radio in them. So it's going to be nice to get these deployed. Let's see here. All right, back to the comments. Yeah, so Ninja RMM does have TeamViewer integration. Noodle says I need to wear an aluminum hat when between those. Ryan Sharp, yeah, they say 500 meters, but depending on your climate, I don't know that you're going to get 500 meters. 2 nanos are much cheaper. Yes. All right. So let's talk about more marketing stuff. And I think I started railing on this last week, but gigabit duplex performance doesn't mean full duplex, right? So the MikroTik wireless wire is full duplex. Some other 60 gigahertz products are not duplex. They use such wide channels that they say it doesn't matter, right? So they destroy the spectrum to send data really fast. So there's that. But nanos are not going to give you the throughput of these things, David, and the nanos don't integrate into UniFi. But I actually have the 60 gigahertz AirMax products sitting right off camera. So back to the comments here. If you're doing the solar, make sure you bury the batteries below the frost line. So I'm not doing the solar. I'm doing the consulting on the networking side. So they've got other professionals that do nothing but alternative power sources. They're also building like a 40-foot tower on their property to do internet feeds to different parcels inside the property. It's really a neat project, but that's all I can really talk about. Ressi says GWN 7630 is a master. Can it manage 7605, 7615s? And allow them to be set to low power. Yeah, you should be able to do that. You should be able to manage those GWNs from the GWN 7630. Oh, that's an interesting concept. So JH says, yeah, I prefer the edge lineup over UniFi. I do too. So I wish that all of the hardware had parity because they're coming out with higher end switches for UniFi and they're kind of forgetting about the edge stuff. And so it's interesting that JH says he wishes that someone else would buy the edge line and do more with it. That's an interesting concept. That's a very interesting concept. Ryan says people say they're feeling weird because they're paranoid and scared of change. I don't know about that. Yes, Noodles, I'm sorry that you all thought I was a physicist and a chemist and an astrophysicist and all of those things. It must be the beard. Excuse me. I had a little thing there, but must be the beard. That must be why you think you see this and you just automatically go, that dude's a Unix administrator and he knows a lot about science. I do know some science stuff and I do love science, chemistry, and physics and those things and physiology, but the beard is, see, you're profiling me and then it hurts my feelings. I'm just kidding. I am not offended in the least. All right. ViOS is EdgeMax OS. Yeah, it's a fork. EdgeMax is a fork of ViOS. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some solar. I'm gonna do some solar stuff here. We've got an outbuilding that we have power running to, but I'm gonna hook it up with solar. So I'm gonna put like 3 solar panels on top, and we're gonna see how this works. I'm gonna film the whole thing, so you're gonna see the mistakes, you're gonna see the learning, all that stuff. I've got my Osmo Action ready to go. I've got the other camera, and we're gonna get that as soon as we get some dry weather. So I'm also not a cryptozoologist or cryptozoologist, the people who hunt Bigfoot. I'm not one of those. I find all these things very fascinating. I also find the paranormal fascinating, but it's not like something that I make a big deal about. But I like hearing stories, and I like the reason I like the Ghost Hunters show is because they set up all this technology equipment, they monitor all this stuff, and they're like, okay, we can explain this, this, and this, but we can't explain this, right? So when you combine science with things, it's fantastic. I knew it was the beard noodles. I knew it was. Cajoling says, actually, with the new glasses, I thought you were Clark Kent. Yeah. So if you see me run into a phone booth and then you see me run out of a phone booth, 1, I'll be out of breath. 2, I will not be wearing a cape. 3, I'll be upset because I didn't have any change in my pocket to make a phone call. You could be a UFOologist. So that's another thing. These unidentified. So they've changed the government and people, they changed wording, right? Words matter. And they changed the words. And so now we don't call them UFOs. They're unidentified aerial phenomenon or something like that. So they've changed it, but I do think we're going to see some stuff. I think we're going to see some stuff from the government. We'll see. Morning, Dave Robertson. All right, listen and looking Apache Guacamole. I think I'll give that a go. Just spinning up an Ubuntu VM and going to install. Thanks, everyone. No problem, Gibby. That's what we're here for. Community. We help each other out. There's more than enough problems that need solved for all of us to grab the rope and pull and move this forward, right? Brent says, good morning, Willie. Well, good morning, Brent. Do you know, is the UniFi B2B bridge full duplex? It is not full duplex. It is not full duplex. As far as I know. I could be wrong. Let me relook at the packaging here. 60 gigahertz radio for up to 1 gigabit wireless link, 5 gigahertz radio for backup, integrated GPS, low interference, 60 gigahertz operating spectrum. No, they are not full duplex. Also, these come pre-paired as a pair, just like the MikroTik wireless wire. But I still do a firmware upgrade manually. I can tell you that a lot of times you see YouTube videos, and it's not from any of the people that you're used to seeing. Some of it could be, but I doubt it. If it's more of some like really big channels, you're not getting a real snapshot of what it's like to actually install this stuff, because they'll run into problems, they'll fix the problems. Then you buy the stuff, you install it, you have problems. And had they done that setup video, then you would have seen the problems and they could have helped you fix that. Jason McIntosh says, do you ever find that when an update is posted for Ubiquiti products, they act weird? We are, unless there's a security issue, we stay several releases behind. I still have people on the 5.14 controller and they love it and it's stable and they're having no problems at all. So until they kill 5.14, I've still got clients there. And that's another reason. If you are an MSP and you're tired of hosting your own UniFi controller, you can go down and use my Hostify affiliate link that's down below. Riley over there does such a great job at running Hostify that I'm not in the business of doing hosted UniFi controllers. That's what he does. They test it. He does a great job at that. We'll design your network. We'll get you on Hostify. We'll help you troubleshoot it. But as far as hosting UniFi, Hostify is where it's at. All right. The paranormal is interesting. Like, why do I make money, but half of it disappears? That's crazy. Yeah. Depending on how much money you make, 50% of it could disappear. All right. So I actually know where there is a phone booth, But that doesn't make me a god. I just means that I know where there's an old part of town where there's still a phone booth. And we actually have a payphone. So for my day job, we have a payphone that was pulled out of a park that belonged to the company. And we're actually going to voice over IP it so that the boss can have it in her office. All right, let's see here. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second. Hello? Hello? My phone doesn't work in my office. Hello? Can you hear me? Let me call you back on Signal. Hello? I don't get any. My phone does not work where I'm at. My wife was calling and she's out picking up graduation provisions. And so I hope it's not anything crazy like she's stranded or something. So let me just take this call real quick. I'll keep looking at the comments, but I need to make sure everything's cool with my wife real quick. She would do the same for me. And I'll look at the comments here. Hopefully she answers Signal. Sometimes she doesn't. So I'll have to text her. Or I'll have to run outside. Let's see here. Let me text her. See if she needs a call. She may have forgot I was live streaming too. Let's see. I can't even send a text. I have 0 signal here. Yeah, I can't even send a regular text message. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. If I hold my phone up like this and I pat my head, nope, no signal. Yeah, the signal is just crazy down here. So I sent her a signal message. We'll see. May have to hop off, maybe not. All right, back to the comments. Yeah, Tony over at QuickTech says, I'm still on 5.14 for my production controller as well. Yeah, I've been telling people don't upgrade unless you absolutely have to. There's some sort of something that you need. Don't upgrade because it breaks. That same school that we fixed in January, February is broken again. Let's see. Ryan Sharp says, I will never put my controller in the cloud. It relies too much on having an internet connection. If I screw something up and it loses the route to the internet, I'm SOL. So the controller is only needed. This is another point of confusion, I think. So the controller is only needed to add new devices to a site, to make configuration changes, or if you're running a captive portal. Other than that, you don't have to have the controller running. No, Bob Carpenter. Right now, U.S. Cellular does not. They don't have Wi-Fi calling, but we're looking at switching maybe to Verizon. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and Noodle says only a few things stop working when your unified controller goes offline. But then when it comes back online, everything probably provisions and drops all the traffic. JH says, put your controller in a Docker container on a NAS. Yeah, I mean, you could. You could. Yeah, Daryl, I $1,100 for a cell repeater. I just can't justify that. For real, why doesn't your phone use Wi-Fi? You know what though? I do have Google Voice. Let me pull up Google Voice. Go to the calls, and I'm going to make a new call. By the way, if you don't know, and you're in an area right now that supports 7-digit dialing, by the next year, you're not going to be able to do that because the FCC is changing it because they're doing it when they're implementing the new 988 suicide prevention hotline. There it goes. We'll see real quick if we can get her to answer. Hey. Yeah, I'm live streaming and I don't get signal down here. Yep, you're on the air right now. All right, love you. Bye. No emergency. All right. So, all right. Was there not a CVE that was patched later in the controllers? I don't know, Cody. A sudo? No, I don't. Well, the sudo thing wouldn't affect the controller software itself. It would have affected the underlying Linux operating system. It doesn't, David Anderson. Maybe you should send me an email and tell me how to turn that on, because it doesn't work. I thought it would work, but it doesn't work. They said it was coming. Brent S says, I run my business and home Unify on Hostify. I love it, and is better in my opinion than on-site having to manage. Yeah, and Hostify just does it for you. Cradle Point is good. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's saying hi to the wife. Yes. So yeah, I try to be a good person and I try to be better, because as awesome as I am at the technology, I do have shortcomings other places. That's part of being a human being. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be awesome at everything, as long as you're trying. And I try. And sometimes I have to make up for it, you know? All right, Ryan, have a good day. Yeah, so if you go out and you check out the 988, which is the National Suicide Hotline, which if you or anyone you know are having issues and you need help, you should definitely reach out. There's a resource that is available that is free. But the implementation of that means they're getting rid of 7-digit dialing all over. So for our area, the 309 area code, it's October 24th of 2021. But if you're in control of your own phone system, you're still going to be able to do that. You can build a route and all that stuff. David says, I use the WeBoost in many Morton buildings. Works well if you cannot get Wi-Fi calling. So it's funny that you bring up Morton buildings, because I'm not far from their HQ and I know a network admin over there. Yeah, Joe, there's still quite a few area codes, believe it or not, that still have 7-digit dialing. Let me 7-digit dialing coming to an end. You just heard my Google foo. The FCC is directing this change to make it possible for callers to reach the National Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Crisis Line by just dialing 988. The 988 hotline was established by the FCC in July 2020 to make it faster for people to connect to crisis counselors. And I support this wholeheartedly. And there's a list. You can find the list from the FCC. Here it is. Area codes where 10-digit dialing will be required. So in Illinois, it's the 309, the 618, the 708. I'm going to put this link to this Verge article in the comments. And yeah, so because we deploy so many phone systems, in fact, we've in the last 2 weeks just secured 6 more phone systems. They weren't huge. They're that 10 to 15 handset range, but we've got some huge ones. We just bid on a school district, 5 buildings, about 400 handsets. I don't know if we're going to get that or not. I'm also putting together a security camera quote for them. But as part of being in this industry, is just like with security and IT and all that, we are always making sure that we're trying to stay up to date with the latest laws and regulations. So Jason asks, Willie, what's the most reliable Ubiquiti long range gigabit link that weather doesn't affect? So I've heard, I can't verify this personally, but I have heard that the the Gigabeam LR at like a mile or 2 miles, even with rain, like it is blasting right through it. So I don't know. Maybe you can cook potatoes in front of it too. I don't know, but check that out, Jason. Jacob Johnson, I've been excellent. I hope you've been doing well, my friend. So Cradlepoint's the go-to model of Cradlepoint that we use, because we use it with Verizon. We paid the Verizon syntax of $500 to be able to get static IPs. We use the 850 model, and you can find them on the internet anywhere between $700 and $1,000. It just depends on the market. But that 850 is a fantastic piece of kit. Unky Joe's in the house. By the way, I think the last weekend of May, and Joe from Cajoling, Tony from Quick Tech, Unky Joe, put this in the comments if I'm speaking out of line, but I think there's going to be another Tech Quartet live stream coming up at the end of the month. So, all right. Unky Joe's in the house. Yeah, you can do LTE with MikroTik for sure. MikroTik has a ton of LTE options. But, I don't have much more. I just wanted to touch base, make sure everybody's doing well. There's going to be, videos this week, lots of Grandstream stuff coming. And, you're going to see the Ubiquiti videos, the Grandstream, all the videos of all the gear that I can get this stuff put out on. Got a new, and I don't know if I told you this, but I'm training my wife to do phone systems. So I'm very excited about that. But, go check out Unky Joe, Quick Tech Solutions. Go check out Joe over at Cajoling. Go check out Jeremy's channel. Go support these creators. They're awesome. And a lot of us put a lot of work into providing this information so we can help each other be better. We can help move the ball forward. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's always awkward when I sign off from the YouTube studio live stream because I don't know if it actually stops or not. But yeah, we'll pin it down. I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you have a great Saturday. I'm going to go start dealing with some graduation stuff, last minute stuff. And if y'all need anything, you can go to williehowe.com, fill out that contact form. If you got my email address, you can email me. If you got Signal Messenger and my Signal Messenger number, you can hit me up on Signal. But I hope you are all going to have a great weekend. Stay positive, stay healthy. If you're in crisis, reach out and get help. We're all in this together. When somebody puts holes in our boat, and we're all in the boat, we all sink. So we're all here to lift each other up and move this ball forward. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm Willie Howe. Once again, I will see you in the next video.